Hello, thank you for coming to the Village Board of East Aurora meeting for May 2nd, 2022. If you could join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a roll call attendance, please.
Trustee Lizikis.
Here.
Trustee Cameron.
Here.
Trustee Vijay. Trustee Flynn.
Here.
Trustee Kimmelhart.
Here.
Trustee Shear.
Here.
Mayor Mercurio.
Present.
6 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the Village Board meeting for April 18, 2022? So moved. Moved by Ernie, second.
Second.
Second by Kristen. Further discussion.
Yes, I just like to note that I was absent, and so I'm shown on here. So I will also be abstaining from this vote.
Got it. You're shown as being absent.
No, I'm shown as being here and I wasn't.
You're shown as being present.
Yes.
All right, so the motion to approve the minutes as amended by trustee. Kimmelhart.
I amend the minutes
Okay.
to include.
Or
I'll amend
trustee
the
Mender,
second.
Marcia
Okay,
Kimmelhart was not present.
thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to approve the payment of abstract for 5/2/2022 for vouchers number 62175 to 62223 for a total of $90,062.99? Moved by Marcia, second.
I'll second.
Second by Molly. Further discussion. Matt, what is that, 72-inch Kawasaki? Is that a mower? The Briggs? And is that to replace an existing unit or for new capacity? Where is it? Is it going to be, do you move the mowers around or are they stationed at certain places? Yep. Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. First, speakers and communications. If anybody would like to talk on a topic, please raise your hand. When recognized, come up to the microphone, please. Give us your name and address and tell us your thoughts. There will be a second opportunity at the end of the meeting to do the same thing. Hello.
Hi, I'm Rachel Francis. I live on Sycamore Street, 225 Sycamore. First, I want to thank, I might be Mr. Hay I need to thank for my new tree. Is that from you? I'm very grateful. So thank you. Thank you, Village, for that. What I want to mainly talk about is a concern for July 3rd. And I live right there. The fireworks are amazing in my backyard. I love the 3rd of July. But let's think about how it fills the landfills, okay? There is a lot of trash created that night. And that's what I'd like to address. And I brought with me a proposal. It's not just a problem, I have a solution. The solution, I did some research, was to find some 42-gallon containers at $155.85 each, recycled plastic. I have some copies for you, polyethylene. If we buy 6 of them, which I would say is the least we would want to buy, then we're spending about $900. And it would be just for cans and bottles. And you gotta know, there's a lot of cans and bottles that leave that night from the park and go to the landfill. This is what I'm hoping you will share my passion and say, let's do what we can. Let's do something to make this better. So here's what I'm asking. I'll give it. My printer, if you all like to pitch in and buy me.
That's not how it works.
And I think I'm one short. I think I'm one short of copies, but here's what I'm asking. And I found this at Treetop Products. I Googled it. It's not on Amazon. I think the price is great. 42 gallons and you can get it labeled bottles and cans. And I will volunteer to make that lettering somehow visible at night. Okay. I'll do it myself if you want. Okay. So I'm asking you to buy some containers that are dedicated to bottles and cans. And 6 is not enough, but let's just start with 6, okay? And number two is to ask the cleanup team, and I know it's late at night. I know it doesn't start, your cleanup crew is amazing. They have it all out of there by like 12:30 at night. Am I right? But we need some scrutiny. You need some scrutiny. And I'll bet I could get some volunteers in this very activist community to help with that scrutiny and find the bottles and cans that are inadvertently put in the trash. And then let's take the proceeds of those bottles and cans and donate them to a local cause. Like, for example, rock. Okay, this is doable.
Mhm.
And do you respond to me now, or do you just let me sit down and I'll start
You
knitting?
know what, Rachel? I went once the next day on the 4th in the morning with some Boy Scouts. And we ended up collecting, I don't know, $40 maybe worth of empties that were just kind of scattered all over the place.
They were not in any container.
No. And that was a few years back. Now, Matt, who exactly goes out there on the day after and cleans up the stuff?
It's that night.
That
They
night?
clean up
And
that night.
yeah.
Yeah, they go, there is some cleanup at night, but the majority of the cleanup is done the next morning.
Does the village own any of these kind of containers already?
We have put recycling containers out in past years and they ultimately end up getting filled with garbage as well. And it's just not cost effective, unfortunately, to sort through all the garbage to get the few cans and bottles. That's what we've seen in the past.
As long as there's garbage cans next to the blue ones, right? The bright blue ones with the hole in them, only big enough for a pop can. I'd like to think most people would get to that point, not try to jam a
That's what we've tried.
bunch of pizza
Right.
crust in the hole.
The blue cans with the small lids that say recycling, where we put those out, not last year, but the year before. And we had 6 of them and they were filled with garbage. And they were right next to garbage cans.
May I suggest there's a campaign in advance and say, we're going to donate the proceeds to Rock. Be careful, be conscious of where you put these bottles and cans.
Mhm.
It's education,
Mhm.
and we have to make it easy for them. I've heard that those containers that you have are smallish. Am I right? They're not 42 gallon?
No,
They're
40
big?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're 42 gallon.
Okay, I take it back. I think we can do better. And I think this is a community that would support a campaign to do better. Admittedly, a lot of the people who come that night are not from the community, so we'll really have to educate them.
I think we, one time at Aces, I remember at Taste of East Aurora one year had, I remember because I was one of the people who did it, had people stationed by the garbage and recycling who were kind of pointing out and helping people, directing people to say, this is recyclable, this is not recyclable. Hey, could you put this in here? And you're not going to get that all night at the 4th, at the 3rd, right? Everybody's trying to have fun with their family and everything. But I think we probably could get some volunteers. I think people probably would be interested. I would do it for a shift.
I really think we would need to make the same pitch, if you will, to the town, while it is in our park and it is a concern of ours.
jurisdiction.
It is a town event. So if we're going to make, it's going to be a very big effort, no matter how much promotion you do, it's not
Mhm.
going to be perfect. And
No.
we're going to be faced, I know that I've done a lot of research on this and talked to a lot of other places that regularly have and regularly educate their residents on trash and recycling and containers in the community, have this exact same problem all the time, no matter what happens. It's
Mhm.
just people, some people just don't care. It's like people who don't pick up after their dogs. Everyone should pick up after the dog, and some people don't. Everyone should be able to figure out the proper place to put these, if we put both containers out, and a lot of people will, and a lot of people will not. So you just need to be prepared for all of the extra work, talk about the cost effectiveness. And if it's great if we're gonna donate the proceeds to a good cause. But we will spend a significant amount of
Hmm.
resources and tax dollars managing and after the fact
But
doing this.
Do you think if you donated to the Rock or the Boys and Girls Club or something, that they would maybe put forth some volunteers for a la Kristen's idea and have somebody just kind of stand there going, it goes there, it goes there.
Possibility, and I'm here as an adjunct member of ACES. I bet we could get ACES people involved, maybe some high school service opportunities. I think we need to, yes, we're going to have flaws, but let's put more effort in as the leaders of the community.
Well, I think Kristen, did you think it was successful at Taste of East Aurora with the monitors at the containers, that was successful?
It was mostly successful. I can tell, yeah, there were people who right in front of me when I said, please don't put this in the recycling, still put their garbage in the recycling because there are people who just have an attitude. But
Don't tell me what to do.
yeah, right. But in
Okay.
general, yeah, I think it went much better than it did when they were unmonitored.
So the formula to have the greatest possibility of success is to have both containers and have a volunteer person, the entire event. And afterwards, when people are leaving, at the containers, instructing people with the proper way to do it.
How many containers do you have?
Or how about just take your containers home with you when you're done? What a
Carry in,
concept.
carry out.
Yeah, sure.
It's like when you go camping, when I go to the
Get rid of-
Adirondacks, I go in
Yeah.
and I bring my stuff back out.
So
again,
get rid of
you
all
know?
the garbage cans in the park.
Take it in, you take it home, just like camping.
Thank you for listening, and I hope you will consider buying dedicated containers just for the bottles and cans.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Rachel, if you do want to reach out to the Rocker Boys and Girls Club and see if they want to come up with some volunteers, and Aces has some volunteers. We have the 6 cans and we can put them right next to garbage cans, and we can reach out to the town as
There's a
far as
town board
promoting
meeting a
the,
week from
as far as
tonight.
promoting the event.
The town board meets a week from tonight.
So we can reach out to the town, Kathy, and let them know that we want to kind of cross promote this idea as they're promoting Independence Day to raise awareness and have it on all the flyers and make sure all the invites include, please put your recycling in the recycling bin. Something to that effect. And, maybe we don't get 100% compliance this year, but as long as we do better, right? Do better every year. It's a nice idea. Thanks, Rachel.
Matt, how can we stop using inmates? I think, weren't there a couple of years we had Erie County Corrections come in and they cleaned up the park after? Years ago?
We should have them stand by the garbage cans. I bet you. They're compliant. Hey.
Handcuff them to the garbage can.
I don't
You know what I'm
recall,
in there for?
I don't recall having someone from the corrections department there.
Maybe it may have been the town. I think years ago,
They were at the park once to paint, Ernie. They
Oh.
weren't there to do anything like that.
okay, I thought there was like cleanup or something, or maybe I'm mixing it up with some other place.
Keep in mind too, if the whole event is on the Saturday and you're doing something then you're doing cleanup on Sunday. They need to have people monitoring them and everything else. The likelihood that you would get them probably on a weekend is
Yeah,
maybe not too great either.
And a holiday.
Yeah, 4th of July.
Holiday weekend, yes.
Interactive with kids.
July 4th. Right, July 4th is Monday, so July 3rd is a Sunday this year, yeah. All right. Speakers and communications, anyone else? All right, moving on to official considerations. Can I get a motion to appoint Ivan Bork as a DPW laborer at a rate of $17.37, starting on or after May 3rd, 2022?
So
Moved by
Second.
Steve, second by Kristen. Further discussion? I coached him way back in soccer. Ivan. No, good kid. How many open spots then do you still have, Matt? Fantastic,
congratulations.
good. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to approve a temporary use permit for the Backyard Bash Thursdays from July 7th through September 1. Moved by Marcia,
Second.
second by Steve. Further discussion? Now, they did ask if they needed to provide porta johns. We did get a letter from 42 North saying, as we've agreed upon with them in the past, that the public is welcome to use those restrooms on the ground level. And so we're not going to require them to have the porta johns unless somebody has an issue with that.
as long as
Alright.
people know that where to go, as long as they're.
I
that
don't
they
know if
they
they-
can go in there,
Yeah, I don't know if they put a sign up or something to let people
because
know.
if there's no porta potty and someone maybe from out of town doesn't know,
No,
and we don't want to have, we've had issues with the people going down to the brook down there by the bridge, remember in the past? One
Yeah, by
family
the
was
house, yeah.
upset. What?
yeah, by that house on the way home.
Yeah, people.
Somebody had a
people-
regular stop by that guy's picture window in his living room every
Yeah, he
night.
was in there with
in
his
the backyard
family hanging
bash. I
out.
remember
There's
that.
this guy out there.
Yeah.
So as long as they let people know.
Yeah.
Signage that to go into the brewery to use the restroom.
Kathy, can you shoot John Simperman an email and ask him to put a sign up there so people know?
Sure.
Or maybe ask the,
The
Well,
band,
we'll coordinate with the
with the
town
organizer.
again as the
Yeah.
recreation department
Right.
event and 42 North.
Yep.
No problem.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to approve a temporary use permit for Hamlin Park Kiwanis Club of East Aurora's Chicken Barbecue and Old Time Baseball Game on June 8th.
so moved.
Moved by Steve, second. Second by Marcia. Further discussion? I like this one. I like going to this every year.
Just so you know, I heard from John, who said he would definitely be here tonight. But he had, at least I think 1 or 2 conflicts. He did give me his cell number. I know it's a normal event and I didn't expect that you would have anything on it. But he wouldn't be here, but he couldn't be. So he and I talked. I can call him if you do end up having any questions, but it is a standard event that is usually pretty popular and always, I'm not aware of any problems that arise as a result of it.
Yeah. Sean Cunningham, right?
Yep.
Did they do it on the same night? In the past? Is that baseball game we just started up a couple years ago? Yeah, was it always the same night as the chicken barbecue? Okay. Because I remember during the game, there's a lady there cooking hot dogs and burgers. Yeah. All right, any other discussion? Moved by Steve, second by Marcia. All those in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to approve a temporary use permit for Hamlin Park, the Aurora Players, free outdoor performances in July and August.
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second.
Second.
Second by Steve. Further discussion? I believe this is the one that said the start time is 6 PM, but they didn't have an end time on the form. Did Renee give you any indication when it was gonna end?
You know what it is? It depends on the
Did you
show.
say when
it's
it's
on.
done? But it. Yeah, that's right. You're involved in Aurora Players. All right, how do we make sure that our motion includes a rough end time and they don't go till 1 AM?
Not to extend.
Our
past.
noise ordinance?
Yeah,
I mean, we can throw an end time in and then if they have a problem, they can come back.
okay.
Not to extend past.
All right, we didn't get motions on this yet. Let's say by 11? Well, I mean,
That's the ordinance, right, Liz?
yeah. I didn't get anybody make a motion on this yet, did we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Didn't
did. I'll amend it to have an end time of 11 PM. That's
I
fine.
didn't write it down. Moved by Kristen. Oh, yeah. Second by, was it Steve?
Steve's got it, yeah.
I don't know, are we gonna get complaints from neighbors like we have in the past for other events that have happened there regarding noise?
Maybe Liz, you
Till
think
11
9:30?
o'clock? Can we?
Oh, I know. My
Yeah,
kids have been in this stuff.
yeah.
Have we ever gotten Shane?
This is the
I don't
adult
think
one,
we've got any
right?
Complaints for this.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm
but
just-
I don't remember how late.
I
it
just,
goes.
I just went through all the church and the park stuff over the
Mhm.
years, right?
Right.
We
Yep.
got, so every single time there was, and they weren't overly loud, but I don't know, maybe the neighbors who would come in and complain about the noise, maybe they're no longer living across the street, but we used to always get with regularity, we would get a complaint.
That was what always, that, when they were complaining, from my recollection, was there were bands there and the
Mhm.
pastor was out of
Yeah.
town. So the bands got to do their own board, soundboard and that. And
Well, yeah, and then
So,
it
I
wasn't the
think that
type of
was-
music that was advertised. It was all kinds of stuff that was.
I
Yeah.
think this is a little more soft, right? I mean, Amp's not. But it's not electric guitars and drum kits.
Shane, have we ever gotten any complaints about these events, these performances from any of the neighbors or anyone? So they have a good history.
Good, okay.
Kristen, yeah, it says 2 speakers outside to amplify the actors for the mics for the actors and some sound effects. Kristen, you made the motion. Do you want to make a time?
I mean, I'm all right with 11, but if anybody wants it earlier, I don't think that it's
Fine,
going to
if
be a
they-
4-hour
If they've
play.
been good citizens and neighbors haven't complained, why, there's not a problem.
Right.
I'm always looking out for the neighbors. I always wanna
Absolutely.
Make sure that they're, you know,
It's a good question.
Okay. So you're adding 11 PM?
Yeah, I'll add
to your-
11 PM.
Okay. And Steve, you're okay with that?
I am totally okay with it. 10:59 for me.
10:59 for Steve. Back to Kristen. All right, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to approve a temporary use permit for the Roycroft Campus Corporation for their Arts and Antique Show on June 25 and 26. Moved by Marcia, second.
I'll second.
Second by Molly. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to approve a temporary use permit for Endurance Factor LLC's 4 for 44 team relay on Saturday, August 27.
so moved.
Moved by Ernie, second.
I'll second.
Second by Molly. Further discussion? Is the applicant here? Thought so. The guy didn't know. So I thought it might be you. You want to come up and identify yourself and tell us about it, please? If you don't mind.
I'm Doug Bush. I'm an event organizer. I live in Ellicottville. Currently, I do this event in Chautauqua County, and I've been working with John Sipperman from 42 North on some other events. And we talked about moving this to the Buffalo market, and obviously East Aurora and his facility would be a great place to do it. I currently put on 5 events of my own, and I work with other events around the country, such as Boston Marathon, St. Jude Marathon. So we're looking for special use permit to put on this event. It's a four-person team relay. It's about 44 miles. It's a self-supported relay. Starts in the villages and goes east. Each runner runs about 12 miles and returns back into the village. The idea of this event, as I kind of outlined, we're not closing roads. We start in 30-person waves about every 20 minutes, so it's a very low impact.
So each runner goes out 12 miles and comes back in?
Well, there's 12 different relay stations. So the relays are between 2 and 5 miles. They run about 12 miles total for about 44 miles for the team.
Okay.
So it's about a 4 to 5 hour event for each team.
You're crossing what, Fillmore and Pine? Are the two streets?
Yeah, Fillmore, then up Martin, around Warren and down Brooklyn, and then out 28 is the route I've identified.
Mayor, just so you know, they don't come back. They run out to a spot outside of our town. And then the next runner picks up and they keep going. Only the last runner comes back into the village.
Oh, so it's not 12-mile loops.
Correct,
Okay, I got it.
correct.
I got it. I didn't understand. Sorry. All right. And Shane, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's fine. It's, we'll have barricades on Fillmore in the block between Church and Pine, just to set the runners up in the street. We'll have one car lead them out to East Main Street and then come back and wait for the next group. It'll be a minimal impact. And then when they come in, they'll be so scattered that it shouldn't be an issue at all. They won't need any assistance by us at that point.
Yeah. Do you want to add anything?
I don't think so, other than we try to work with some local charities, sports boosters and food pantries, because we will need some volunteers, and our volunteer program is a paid and donated program.
Mhm.
So we try to actually give back to the community when we can.
Have you connected with any groups yet or identified any groups yet locally?
I have not. So any suggestions that you guys all have, typically high school groups are the ones that work well for us, just because we can get a lot of kids and it's obviously a good cause.
Sure. Yeah, it's good to have a lot of bodies on the course to make sure you're keeping it straight. I remember the Buffalo Marathon relay.
Right.
And I saw the guy was waiting at like the 4th leg, and I saw the front runner run by with the cop on the motorcycle. And then a minute later, a guy ran by in green sneakers, and then like 20 more people went by, and then the guy with green sneakers ran by again.
Oh.
And he was from like Kenya, and he's looking at us like, and they didn't have enough volunteers. They hadn't got him out that far, and he just got lost in Buffalo and eventually came back by the same spot again. They gave him actually a duplicate second prize because it wasn't his fault. He would have came in second.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good to have people out there working it. Does anybody else have any questions for Doug?
Yeah, Peter, just so you know, apparently they were gonna have this in Ellicottville, but the mayor there said no. So.
I'm on the village board at Ellicottville.
Yeah.
Were you part of that bike ride that John did, right?
I was
Yeah.
the event director for that.
Got it. I remember him mentioning.
Yeah. I did try to do an Ellicott, but honestly, the biggest issue with this event is we're sending out cars and finding parking spots every 2 to 5 miles, like 30 spots. In Ellicottville, we're just too rural. There's nothing around. We did do it around Chautauqua Lake for 4 years, but we ran through Jamestown and it's not the safest environment. So we're looking for.
You lost like 5% of the runners. It just wasn't worth it.
There was a body found on the course the day before.
You're kidding.
I'm not joking. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a no.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why we're looking at changing it. And the only date that I could use at facilities down there was Bill's opening weekend, which really restricted our registrants.
Sure.
Let's hope we avoid that result here. Anybody else have any questions for Doug?
No, all right.
Good. All right, thanks, Doug.
Thank you, guys.
All right, moved by Ernie, seconded by Molly. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to approve the ARPA spending plan.
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second. Second by Marcia. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You know what? I only heard like 2. Can I get all those in favor again, please?
Aye.
Thank you. I just gotta make sure we have a quorum. Opposed? Approved. And you know, if everybody speaks at the same time, it just disappears, you know? Can I get a motion to approve the purchase of the street sweeper from Timco Inc. off the Sourcewell contract 122017-TYM?
So moved.
Moved by Marcia, second by Kristen. Further discussion?
Yeah, why, all those, it went from the base price to all the accessories. What do they charge a la carte for those things, everything on that there? Yeah. The air horn is more.
We went through the vehicle and removed anything that wasn't necessary that was an accessory. Like there was a large vacuum unit on the back for cleaning out storm drain intakes, but we have another truck that does that. So it's not a stripped vehicle, but it's got what we need to do the job safely.
I got you. I just was surprised. Yeah. The base price is half and all the
Well,
a la carte stuff is a boom.
That's how they market it,
the
right?
base price is the chassis.
It's
And then
really,
they add
Right.
everything
That's how
to
it
it to make it a sweeper.
Right.
okay. Is that really how they do that?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Any other discussion?
How long do you think that's gonna take, Matt?
We should have it before winter.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to schedule public hearings on June 7th for local laws to amend village code sections as follows. Section 180-3, increase fees charged to mobile food vendors found operating without a permit. And sections 285-20.1 and 20.2, adding dimensional requirements for accessory dwelling units. Moved by Marcia, second.
Second.
Second by Ernie. Further discussion.
Yeah, I have a couple questions here.
Go ahead.
Sorry, the zoning board and these coming out here, but how were these determined? Most of them are in line with the accessory use structures I see, but I just thought the maximum building height,
20 feet.
20 feet. I mean, if someone wants to do one above a garage, you're gonna get a ton of variances requests for this. So I don't know if that was purposeful or you wanted to keep them 1 story, or I
So
just wanted a little bit more context there.
Currently, they are, if someone is building a new accessory dwelling unit, then they're limited to the accessory building height, which is 15 feet.
Right,
Okay, and we've had an accessory dwelling unit come through that they wanted to continue to have a garage on the first floor with
Right.
living space above. And the problem that we run into there is you can make it work with a 20-foot mean height and get a garage space below.
right, but remember on Olean?
Yeah, that's a totally different,
Okay,
situation there.
so they can get a garage and a living,
Correct, depending on what the
20 feet?
roof, depending on what the roof and the wall heights are and all of that, 20 is doable.
Is it,
It's not generous, but doable.
yeah, is it doable?
It's not the
What-
peak. It's not the
It's
peak
not
of the
the
roof.
peak?
It's the
That's what I was
mean
thinking.
height. That's how we define the building height
Right.
is the mean height.
Okay.
I guess I see a difference between doable and practical and what we, I mean, I guess the reason is why didn't you, is that the minimum that you want to go or the maximum you want to go on this?
I think it's a reasonable request in the village for new accessory dwelling units that are on a second story in someone else's backyard.
Okay. That's all I want to know.
What about existing, like a barn they want to turn into that? Does that kind of, that goes out, if that barn's higher than that already? then-
It's legal non-conforming,
They're
and
gonna
you've
need it.
approved one of those
They're gonna
on
need a
South Grove
variance
Street.
for that. They're gonna need a variance. if they
No,
want-
it's legal non-conforming. It's the
Right, but if
conversion
they
of,
make it into a dwelling unit, then they're gonna,
converting an existing building into a dwelling unit. It's a legal non-conforming. It's a legal non-conforming building for that use.
oh, so they don't need a variance.
they
when
can do it by right.
change use.
No, the code allows for conversion of existing structures into ADUs.
Right, but don't they have to come before someone to get it okayed though, right?
They have to come before you. Mhm.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, that just caught my eye. I just was wondering why it was so low. That's all.
I thought the same thing, and I didn't know, well, how did you describe the height? How do you figure it?
It's defined as the mean height of the building height is the mean height. So that's halfway between the peak and the eave.
Okay.
So depending on your roof pitch, your wall height, all of those things, that's how we determine the mean height of the building.
Thank you.
I just feel like you're getting a lot of variances. about this.
Well, and if we do, then we can come back and tweak it a bit.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's not a bad thing to have to come and explain the plan.
Right,
but-
I mean, so
sure.
think about the house on South Street.
Right,
You know, they're
Right.
taking down a single story, like barely a garage, one car
Right.
garage, and they're putting in a 2-car garage with living space above, and they had a 5-foot,
that was over 20,
6-foot
right?
variance, yeah.
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 Okay,
Well, I think we'll see a lot more of this happening with real estate prices going up and an aging population.
Mhm.
People needing a place to live and I have a carriage house behind our home and that was kind of what I was thinking would be a nice thing to have
Mhm.
to live in. One of my kids could live in the big house and I'll live in the back there and, you know, I think, you know, especially with so many people aging, you know, needing a place to live near family.
Sure, there are 4 applications before the planning commission tomorrow
right.
that you've all referred, and they
Yep.
will come back to you after their meeting.
Mhm.
Is 20 the standard on these things and other? in
I've
other-
looked
in other
around, it
code? I'm
seems
sure
to
you looked at
be-
other code, right?
It's a pretty common number.
Okay, I was just curious.
Sure.
All right, scheduling this public hearing, the motion was made by Marcia, seconded by Ernie. Chris pointed out June 7th is a Tuesday. So I don't think there's a holiday, June 6th, or is there? Am I missing one in my calendar? All right,
When does
so-
the town recognize the 4th of July?
June.
June. Oh, this is June.
June 6th?
The month after. The month after.
All right, so Marcia and Ernie, you're amending, schedule public hearing to June 6th, correct?
Yes.
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved, It's scheduled. I got a motion to advertise a public hearing on the municipal separate storm sewer systems MS4 following report. Competition,
Completion should be.
completion.
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second,
I'll second.
second by Molly. Further discussion?
I kind of want to watch an MS4 report competition now.
That would be, I bet it would be thrilling.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Who knows, maybe it'd be like Anchorman where they show up with all those great weapons.
Right?
The lasers. All right, so, any other discussion? All those in favor,
Aye.
Aye.
opposed, approved? I got a motion to approve the budget adjustments.
I'll make a motion for that.
Molly Flynn, second, second by Marcia. Further discussion? All those in favor,
Aye.
Aye.
opposed, approved? I get a motion to declare surplus property, 3 police vehicles. Moved by Marcia, second.
Second.
Second by Kristen. Further discussion? Shane? Anything to add?
Just one thing, do you mind if I have the bid end right before the village board meeting on the 6th? No, it's my old vehicle and 2 patrol cars. One's the old canine vehicle, so it's pretty beat up. But the other 2 with the prices the way they are should bring in a pretty good auction.
Good.
But we'll have the auction end sometime prior to the next meeting. Or I'm sorry, no, we won't be able to get it done, I don't think. And the June 6th meeting. So we'll know then.
All right, what did we work out again for the SRO's vehicle?
It was a holdover. Instead of getting rid of a police car, we kept one for that.
So you're already holding it, it's not one of these?
No.
Okay.
No, we're all set.
How much do you get for these auctions?
It varies. The last 2 we sold, I think we got
7 and 9?
6. I was gonna say 6 and 9 and 7. and
One
9,
had been
something like
wrecked
that.
though, right? That was the one Paul was in that got banged up real good.
Yeah, I mean, that was all fixed, but it had a lot of miles on it. The outside was a little banged up from wear and tear. But
More than we got.
yeah,
for
they
the
do.
fire truck.
We used to trade them in to DeLacy when we bought new vehicles, but we were getting minimal for them. So, and used car prices are extremely high right now.
Okay.
Good
And
news.
any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. No new business. Second, speakers and communications. Anybody want to pipe up on anything? Raise your hand. Department head report, Shane?
All of our work in the building is all happening all at once right now. The DPW's got the new security door frames studded inside the building. We just found out that the doors are in and will be installed in probably 2 to 3 weeks. We had the company in that does our key card system come in and wire the new doors. And on top of all that, we are working on the radios still. You should have the agreement with SEA if you're willing to move forward with that. The testing is proved exceptionally well for the new systems. We had a couple officers go out to remote locations. We had one go to the basement of the middle school and try both portables, our current system and the new system. And you couldn't copy them at all on our current system, but the new system was loud and clear.
We got through all the lead and
Wow.
asbestos.
Yeah,
Great.
and the boiler and everything else. So all the spots in town that were a problem are not with the new system. So
Great.
yeah, we're good to go on that as long as you're willing to sign that off. And hopefully next month we'll have a much more secure police department, and we'll be finishing up some minor cosmetic stuff for our juvenile office so we can get that certified by family court, and we'll be good to go.
Thank you.
Great.
Response times in the village are 1.5, and in the town, a little over 2 minutes. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm keeping them tight. Good. All right, Matt?
We received our new mower just in time to not use it for the month of May. And we planted a whole bunch of trees over the last week, this past week, and planting some more this week.
Are those trees gonna get gator bags, Matt?
We hand out information slips with all the trees to the property owners and ask them to water them, and depending on the location, some of them we will put gator bags on if they're not attended to properly.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Liz? You good?
So you have, thank you for setting 2 hearings for the code changes coming up. That's in another month. Next meeting, you have the 3 you have all that information about what all those are with the red lines that have been provided. There's another larger code change that Liz has been working on that's required by the state, that basically every municipality has to revise their code having to do with basically everything that Liz does. Yeah, I didn't know how to describe it because it's very broad. So it really has to do, if you have a code enforcement officer, how that all works. So that is, we don't have any choice. It's a mandate from the state. So Liz has been doing a lot of work on that. They did give us some model ones to follow. And Chris, of course, is involved in anything that we do for our code change. So we'll probably end up trying to have a public hearing on that. That's due by the end of the year, right? And so I just would rather get it done sooner rather than later because it's pretty well in good shape as far as all the work that Liz did on it. So thank you for that. I did send off, I know we had changed over the ADA coordinator to Paul Porter, and I did put together a lot of information for him and gave him a lot of documents that he can revise and get that information out. So then everyone should know that if they have any issues with the ADA as they relate to village operations and facilities, that he is the person to contact. So I had sent him quite a bit of information on that, some of that for him. And then, of course, another thing that we have that's available to residents is helping them with any fair housing issues that they have. That is a responsibility of mine that you've given me, Mayor Mercurio. And that has to be trained every 3 years. I think I trained within the last 1 or 2, but there is another training going on now. It's not very long or intense, so I'm gonna I try to hop on that tomorrow and get that fair housing training. So if any residents have any issues where they don't feel as though that fair housing codes are being met, they could come to me at first, and then we would put it to the other proper people to handle that. And then, of course, I'm working on a lot of insurance issues. And then we will be working on very soon with Vanner, our broker, on our insurance renewal. We'll be looking at if we want to put that out to a number of carriers to see what they come back with prices, or if we want to, I know they did that just last year, so you don't necessarily do it every year, but it depends on what your incumbent carrier comes in with, is what they're going to tell you initially as an increase. So Travelers, we were with Selective previous to Vanner, and since we've been with Vanner, Travelers has been the carrier that has had the best pricing and coverage. And so then we'll be looking at if we want to stay with Travelers, depending on what Vanner works along with them, or if we want to put it out to a number of carriers, and if we want to possibly go with a different carrier, if we can get better pricing and coverage as good or better. But I can keep you all continuously informed about that. And that doesn't come up until, we like to do it all ahead of time again, because it's a fairly big process, but it's beginning of August is when that changes over. So very happy still with what Vanner has been doing for us with that brokerage firm. And I know that the town is using them at this time too. So they're doing a nice job for us with the number of things that we have to deal with them. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Kathy.
Kathy, I have a question. Can you give some sort of update on the Code Red project? We are waiting on the town. It is, we need to have, because we're going to be sharing that service, we need to have, and sharing the cost is another important factor of that. We need to have an intermunicipal agreement with the town in order to make that happen. And because they are the entity that will have the contract with the vendor direct, and we will not, we'll just be sharing it with them. They need to provide us with the intermunicipal agreement proposal. And I believe Luke Wachensky, Councilman Wachensky, is working on that, and we are waiting to get that from. Is that correct, Maureen?
That's the last I heard.
So that's as much as we know about it. Yep.
Thank you, Kathy. Maureen?
I made every attempt in the world to get our ARPA reporting done on time. Unfortunately, that website does not want anybody to report anything. After giving away my firstborn child to get the rights to be on that site, it doesn't have the access we need in order to do the reporting. So I've emailed their help desk about a jillion times and have received no response. I did send my report to their help desk. So I feel like I've reported until they give me access, which is the best I could do. Our tax bills are in the office and being prepped for tax season. Taxes will be due between June 1st and July 1st. And they will be going out so that everybody receives them on June 1st. Or if it goes to their mortgage company, they have been sent to the mortgage company. I also attended a meeting with Erie County Clerk having to do with the zombie properties. Well, traditional zombie properties are not so much our issue. I know that Liz brought up the estate type zombie properties that we have. So they are looking into a property on Oakwood for us and gave out some other good information. We do have one property that has a number of years of taxes back due on it. Not to us because we're made whole, but it is with the county. Other than that, in the village, they're pretty much all at 1 year. So we're not too bad on that. So just, I'll be keeping an eye on it. Anything to add, Liz, that I missed on that? No.
Is the ARPA thing any sort of concern?
I'm not only because NICOM came back and said, as long as you can prove you were trying. I've called Chris. I let Chris know. Chris said, keep my emails. I have all my emails.
Is there someone else we should escalate to versus instead of just
I
the
don't
IT
know.
desk?
I don't know who to. I mean, everybody's having these issues. It's not just us. I've called other municipalities. I've been trying their help desk for weeks. I mean, it's not like I just did this last week. I've been
Mhm.
trying their help desk for weeks.
Mhm.
So a lot of people are having that problem. I think they're overwhelmed because everybody in the world is trying to get them. I'm sure my 40 requests for help is not necessarily helping, but once they get to it, I mean, they'll get to it. If they have that many people who didn't report, I don't know what they can't do. We really have nothing to report until tonight. You guys didn't make a decision. It was as of April. So
Mhm.
I sent that to them. I said, we have no report. We have not spent any money. I mean, that's our report.
Okay.
Once I can get in the system, it will literally take me less than 5 minutes to do it. I watched every YouTube video there is to see if I was doing something wrong.
So I also attended a meeting with other administrators and clerks and many people reporting the same problem. And as Maureen, it's actually not in the world, but every single jurisdiction in the country that received this money, we're talking schools, villages, towns, counties, every cities, is trying to report. And obviously the federal government did not have a proper system for that to happen, and they know it. So I know that Maureen made just every effort she possibly could and could not be successful. And to know, not for anything that she didn't try. She did everything she could, and it just couldn't happen because on the federal government end, that system does not work. So she did everything she could to prove that we tried to do it and what we did. And we haven't spent any money. So what's the difference anyway? But that's where we are.
So no money's at risk or anything. All right.
Right.
All right. Anything else? All right. Kristen?
I went to the Arbor Day ceremony on Friday at the high school, which was very nice. They planted a couple of pin oak trees and a couple of apple trees. The environmental science students did a nice job planting those. So always neat to see. It was a much larger turnout than I remember seeing the last time I went a handful of years ago. They said it's been growing over the years. So that's just always a nice event. Yep. A couple of councilmen from the town were there. So just some nice cooperation all over the place. We got really lucky with the weather. So yeah,
Good.
nice day.
Thanks.
No
Any-
silver maples.
No silver maples.
I love trees too.
Ernie?
Yeah, and as long as we're on the topic of trees, thank you, Matt, for planting those trees on my street. And I've been looking at those empty spaces for a long time, wishing there was a tree there. And it's nice to see that those trees were planted. I'm gonna make sure they get watered too. So Fillmore always had beautiful trees, and we've been losing them because they're all elderly now and going away. So it's nice to see new ones going.
What trees went in, do you know?
What
kind of trees?
I don't know. I didn't know. I just driving by, I saw them. I didn't actually walk up to them, but I don't know. Well, we'll be investigating that, but
Just didn't know if they were little or gonna be
Oh, no,
30,
they're,
40 years, are they gonna be big?
well, on the one side, there's no wires. On my side of the street, there's no wires, so they can put in full-size trees and it's a huge tree lawn, so. But, yeah, we used to all just be sugar maples all the way down the street. It was like driving through a forest, you know, and the trees arching over.
Yeah, Fillmore's always.
Oh, it was
there.
great, you know, it was always really cool and, but we've been losing them over the years, so thank you, Matthew.
Marcia? Molly?
I was a recipient of a tree, so thank you, Matt. It's a red bud of some sort, some decorative, and I will water it. So I got my first inquiry from some citizens, some high school or some middle schoolers that were interested in a skate park at Hamlin and wanted to know if there was a possibility of doing that. They'd all just come back from spring break in Florida, and Anna Marie Island had a skate park. And so I told them I'd been here for a hot minute and I didn't know, but that I would bring it up and do some investigating for them, because their parents said that they would be willing to do some fundraising for it and were in favor of it. And I'm sure I said there could be some safety issues and liability and some other police and hanging out and things like that, but there was a master plan for the Hamlin Park and that I would look into it. So I'm gonna look into it.
What do you think? What's your first blush?
I don't know. There was a group of kids, a pretty significant number of students or kids that were interested in having it. And if it made sense and it was within the budget and the police were okay with it and there wasn't any liability issues and they were going to utilize it, I mean.
Orchard Park has one, but I don't know if it really gets used much.
Yeah, I
should
guess
go
it's
listen
some
to it.
big thing. I guess all these kids are into it now and they don't have anywhere to go. And I mean, I don't know if it's just a fad or not, but
I remember about 10 years ago, a group of 6 or 8 kids came to my house, and I think they came to a board meeting too, the Bronchital boys were 2 of them. It was 6 or 8 kids. And they said they wondered if there was a way to do a skate park. And I think some of the concerns were what the noise is gonna be, the clapping of the boards on the concrete and everything. In Hamlin. I drove over to one in Buffalo after that, kind of listened to it. But that was like way out by itself along the Niagara River. And
yeah.
and so it was kind of, and they had a lot of earth and berms. It's just kind of hard to tell what kind of ambient noise it was going to give off. And we suggested maybe they also look at South Street, talk to the town, or talk to the state about Knox Park, or putting something a little farther away, maybe away from homes.
Yeah.
Versus Hamlin, which is surrounded by homes. But I mean, if it's what people want and it's not that invasive.
Mayor, I think at the time when that was brought up, there was some concerns about, well, because of liability issues, that it would have to be manned by village, town, rec department, somebody, and then there was costs associated with that. And there's several hurdles to get through before anybody was even willing to consider it, I think, at that time.
Yeah, I don't know if that's changed or not. They said, because I asked that, and the kids said that there wasn't anybody at the one in Florida. I mean, obviously they could have different.
There wasn't anybody at the one in Buffalo either.
Yeah.
There isn't one in Orchard, but there's nobody at
Yeah.
Orchard Park.
And, they had lower rails and kind of lower thing,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just said I would look into it. And someone I did talk to said that Gary used to have something, but, back where
Behind the club.
West Falls lived, yeah. And so I don't know if it didn't get used or something happened or why they stopped. So,
Well, again, it went back to the whole, it was believed at the time it should be supervised. And kids don't always want to go somewhere that's supervised.
sure.
And then it doesn't, you spend the money and then it doesn't get utilized, but.
Just for starters, Molly, do you want to reach out to Vanner Insurance and ask them what's involved as far as what insurance would
Sure.
require of the
You work
park?
with Scott?
Usually John Dutton is the president there, JD. So as some background, I'd be happy to check too. When the Hamlin Park Master Plan was just being completed, I was just coming to work at the village. So I probably attended 2 or 3 meetings that when they were finishing up. But I know that there was a very long and extensive process with a lot of stakeholder groups brought in and community surveys and all of that.
Yeah.
So we can certainly look at that data, and I can probably check with was Karen Lee on the Hamlin Park Master Plan Committee? Do you remember, Mayor? But, and
I didn't
then
think she
I
was
know
on that one.
Elaine,
No, I don't think so.
Elaine, who is retired now from Parks and Rec, I know for a fact she was at all of those meetings.
Yeah,
And I can check with Norm too, if we want to,
Yeah.
maybe Elaine would be better.
And you can read the study and see what responses came
Right,
up as
but,
far as.
but Elaine would have
park.
been at all of those meetings, so I can certainly check with her as far as if this particular proposal was discussed and what all of the, how it turned out that it didn't wind up in the master plan, and to what degree it might have been discussed. I'm happy to check on that.
Yeah, I don't
Or if
remember it
there's a better
being,
place for it.
I don't remember it being a big topic during the whole process with the plan. But you also got to look at it, and say, all right, there's no group driving, right? It's not like the lacrosse or the Aurora players who were driving a certain issue in the schools, like we need a basketball court, you know? It's just a bunch of kids who want to skateboard. So they didn't have representation, right, if you will. So maybe the general survey that went out, I don't even know if, 14-year-old boys who skateboard are filling out village surveys online. I-
Parents might be. It
Maybe.
can all be investigated as far as how that all, to what degree that was raised in that process.
Yeah.
Easy to check.
Yeah, I know there was some discussion certainly about green space in the park. I don't remember skate parks being part of it, but we might want to think about that footprint and how much green space you start to lose in Hamlin Park.
They're also trying to push some activity out of the park because a lot of people felt that it was being overused in some ways. Too much going on and causing damage to the trees in the grove, and that they were also discussing maybe utilizing other parks.
Yeah, maybe there's
As
a better
well,
spot
and that-
for
I
it.
do
That'd
think,
be-
yeah, I do think it makes
Why
sense
not
for them to
next
be able to
like the
skate
dog
someplace.
park? Next to the dog park in Knox, where it's probably somewhat loud anyway. There's no homes over there.
What about down by Majors?
Yeah.
Closer to the village, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, that's the thing. You want to make sure it's easy for kids to get
Yeah.
there too. Yeah.
I don't know. But
All right,
they,
Front lawn of
they
the
seemed,
DPW building.
because I said that I would need probably more information, and they said that they would be willing to, put some.
Yeah.
Do some research on it.
That
and-
actually is not a bad idea.
Yeah, Matt could
Put it
supervise
down.
them out his
Put
window.
it down Pine Street Extension. Where
Right,
there's no.
right in
homes.
front, right in front of the
Next to
office,
the
on the lawn there. 'Cause you don't need a lawn, then it's less to mow, and then just have it right there.
Next to the solar farm. Yes, to do tricks on. To be pioneers.
It does make sense though, you're right, because there's not really any place for them to
To be
skateboard where
discussed
they're not gonna
further,
be getting in
but I just
trouble.
wanted to let you know that it's brought up.
All right, anything else, Molly?
No, I'm good.
All right, Steve?
Nothing other than I have a major concern about getting Maureen's firstborn child back from.
She didn't seem too broken up over it.
I know. That would be my only thing this week.
What's your daughter, like 15? 14?
Oh,
Yeah, you're probably like, yeah, I could use a few
Maybe
years.
for like 4
few
years.
years
or
off.
whatever, Yep.
Yeah. All right, we're still working on the PBA contract, negotiating with the police. Things are moving forward there. Again, we have our proclamation for No Mow May. And basically it's to help out the bees early in the year. But the science says that the pollinators need sources until a lot of the flowers have bloomed. So they suggest not mowing. So we are not mowing the football field and the fireman's field and down by the DPW. And we are mowing the baseball field and the parts of Hamlin Park that need to be mowed, just in case people are concerned. You are? Oh, they are. So then you can start mowing it. Okay. Yeah, whatever needs to be used. Thank you, Matt. But I know my yard, it's already, the second? My yard already looks overgrown. It's gonna be a long month. But we need bees. What else? I would like to thank Maureen and Kathy, because there was funding opportunity. I was talking to Lynn Dixon at Chris Jacobs' office. There was a funding opportunity that doesn't get awarded until I think 2023, right? For the projects, but we had like 2 days to get it done. Lynn gave me a bunch of great pointers. We are not excluded based on per capita income, which a lot of times keeps East Aurora, the town of Aurora, out of the running for some of this stuff. So I tasked the two of them to drop everything and turn it around, and they did. They got it in on time. They got 15 letters of support from other players in the community, and it was a lot of work. And they really stayed focused, and I really appreciate you guys getting it done, giving us a chance at hopefully getting, what was the dollar total we asked for?
$2 million.
2 million even?
Yep.
You didn't go over, did you?
Nope.
It has to be under 2 mil.
It's got to be under 2 million. So I asked
Right.
for 2 million.
So, yeah, so fingers crossed, but I do want to say thanks to those two for really, really crushing.
And Molly helped with the writing part.
I didn't know if Molly wanted me to say that, though.
Molly is the-
If anybody
She
needs grant
taught me
writing
very
help,
well.
That was on the QT morning.
Sorry.
You're most welcome.
What would be, any restrictions on how this money can be used?
He has, he
Hamlin
has
Park.
like 150 municipalities, and he's allowed 20 awards of funding of up to 2 million per project. And the more letters of support you get, like we got letters from like the chamber and the rec department, the town, and who else? I don't know,
We have other,
was Girls
That's
Club.
for the Hamlin Park.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
it's for the building, to do the building. It's the big
The
one.
building with the bathrooms and
Parking
sidewalks,
lot, sidewalks.
parking lots, yeah. Drainable, yeah, parking lots that drain.
They
So we
can
kind of
get-
lumped it all together. Lynn said that's a good way to bundle it as one project and submit it together. So thank you again for doing that. Fingers crossed. What else? With that, I'm gonna make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss possible litigation with no intention of voting on anything after we come out.
Yeah.
Can I get that motion?
So move.
Moved by Steve, second. Second by Marcia. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. We're going to executive session. Thank you all for coming today. If you need signatures, now's the time before we throw you out.